It's like, I do this every day anyway, but it feels like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So I'm really having to think about, everything. And I know that my topic today is going to be about just for today. And that's what I had to tell myself today when I came in here. And Rose is right over here. So if I look at you, I'm looking at you. There's Rose. It's like, oh my gosh, if I thought I had to do what I'm doing every single day for the rest of my life, I would say no way. Or if you said, oh mom, there's only 8 more days. As soon as I get out of today, it becomes overwhelming. And I have learned over the years that if I can do for today what I never thought I could do for a lifetime. And I look at that, I've been eating like this for almost, well, over 20 years now. And it's like, oh my gosh, if you'd have told me that I'd still be doing this 20 years later, I would have said, no way, no way. But just one day at a time, I'm able to do it. So I'm just staying in today, and we are making an amazing meal. And I had my best friend from my childhood. I've been sending her, she lives up in Marysville, and I've been sending her the little links because we've been recording it. And so she sends me back, she goes, this is fabulous. When are you going to make Manetta? And I go, wow, that's from our childhood. And I made that for my children. But she remembers it from our childhood because my grandmother used to make it. So I'm going to make Manetta for you. I've got water boiling over here. And I'm just going to give you kind of like the recipe. So I have got, I love to use everything. So I've got beet greens and some kale from the garden here, 1 pound. And included in that is the little stems. But these stems take longer to cook than these greens. And they take about the same time as the cauliflower and broccoli. So I'm going to put those on the bottom, and I've got salted hot water over here in this pan. I don't know if you can see this pan. So I've got this pan here, and it's boiling. And I've got 1 pound of cauliflower. I've got a 1/2 pound, 8 ounces of broccoli. I've got 8 ounces of green, 8 ounces of zucchini, and 8 ounces of green beans. So when I'm going to steam them, they really aren't going to lose any weight because it's water onto water. I'll put the lid, and I told you that 70–80% of your vegetables is water. So if you steam them, it's going to hold it, and it's going to weigh more. But if you roast it, it's going to evaporate. So I'm going to put them in here now. So I've changed this recipe just a little bit from when I was a child because instead of putting a whole pound of cauliflower, we would put 8 ounces of cauliflower, or 2 cups, and then put potatoes. But because we want to keep our potatoes separate, the starch separate, and everybody's like into using cauliflower instead of potato now, I've doubled the amount of cauliflower. I like the way it tastes. And then that's going to be boiling. I've got that on high. I'm going to let this boil just for like 5 minutes. So green beans are the next thing that are going to go in because they take a little bit longer than the zucchini. So I'll go 5 minutes here, then I'm going to put the green beans, put like 2 minutes for the green beans, and they're going to be sitting on top. They're not going to be in the water, so they're going to steam up. And then I'll put the zucchini on top of that for another 2 minutes, and then I throw the greens just at the last minute right on top, and I let it all steam together. When I can push a fork through and it's all soft, I know that it's done. So I'm going to stick this to the side and add my other veggies in about 3 to 4 minutes. Yep, let that come to a nice boil. It's salted water. Here's the next thing I'm going to do, is I'm going to take my tofu, and I love grilled tofu. Tofu has absolutely no flavor to it. So I've cut regular firm tofu into little squares like this. I'm going to heat up my pan. This time I'm going to use coconut spray. You could use sesame oil, would be really good. If there's a sesame oil spray you can get. I'm going to put just a little bit of my pepper. But whatever spice you want to do. I could do a little rosemary here too. Now you see how this is drying out real nice? I'm going to take out a little piece of my rosemary. You like rosemary, right? Okay. So these are our spices and this is our herbs. And I'm going to let them toast. And I'm going to put a little salt. Don't forget the salt. And I know you've been hearing from your doctor over and over, don't add salt, don't add salt. But again, I'm going to tell you, if you are eating mostly vegetables and lean proteins and no processed food, you're going to need a little bit of salt because your body needs to have that in order to balance out. It's really important. Your blood pressure, and that's what I found. I used to have high blood pressure, and now my blood pressure is 96/64. It's like ridiculous. They go, oh my God, how do you do this? And it's because I don't eat any processed food. So, and they always tell me for years, don't add salt to anything, but I need to. Okay, so these veggies are going really well. So the next thing I add, can you see? Yeah, I'm adding the green beans right over. And I'm going to let those steam up for a minute. This, I like, you'll know it's done. I mean, I can feel the heat coming on. But also the reason why I put my spices, I like them kind of, I like them cooked. It lets out the flavor, but you can always tell also when it's ready. Ooh, you hear that? I'm going to put my tofu in here. I like to get a nice browning on this. Plus tofu has a lot of water in it, so you can see it steaming up. I'll save that for later. Meanwhile, this is going real good. Oh, this is going to be perfect, Rose. Perfect, perfect. I'm going to add my zucchini to the top, kind of layering it up. We're going to bring over a little olive oil. Okay, so this is what we call dinosaur kale. I love dinosaur kale. I like to saute it really quickly with some garlic. Fabulous. I also like to chiffonade. Remember chiffonade where we roll it and we cut it real small, and I'll add that to my salad. And then if you want to just tear and have bigger pieces, and you can massage it with a little sesame oil, put some sesame seeds, put a little bit of lemon juice on that, or Bragg's amino acid. It is so wonderful, so wonderful. So what we do here is this part right here in the middle, that's kind of tough. So you do is you take it and see this, and you just strip it down. Now I don't use the center part of the kale. I don't like the flavor of it. And me, I eat everything except the center part of the kale. Don't like it. Too bitter. So when people get the kale in the bag that's chopped, you'll see that they just chop it up with this part in here, and I don't like it. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to take a look. Can you see that browning, my tofu? I don't know if you can. Get it close. Can you see it brown? Okay. So now it's time to turn it over. Oh, and this is so good. It's picking up all of the nice herbs and spices that I have here. And I like cooking for you and showing you in real time how long it takes. There's almost nothing that I cook that takes more than half an hour to put together. So today Rose is having Manetta and tofu for lunch. I'm having salmon from yesterday. Okay, so this tofu has got a nice little, look at that, Rose. You are going to love this, girlfriend. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to just spray it just a little bit more when I turn it again. Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to let that go. Oh, this is coming out so good. So I'm going to take that fork. Fork, Rose. What a fork. Yeah. Fork. Thank you, thank you. And I'm going to test to see if my veggies are ready. Cauliflower is still too hard. But now I'm going to put this on the top. These greens. The best greens to use for this is Swiss chard. So Manetta came in my family because we always had a garden. And so my grandmother would go out and we'd pick the, cauliflower and broccoli that had come from the winter. It was still out there. And all the leaves that are there around the cauliflower and the broccoli, how it grows, we ate all of that. But there'd always be a row of Swiss chard. We'd have green beans, there'd be potatoes, and she would just bring in everything from our garden. We would chop it up and we would make minestra, minestra, which is a soup. This is like a vegetable kind of heavier, so we called it Manetta. And when we bring it and it gets real soft, so we give this to younger kids, and it's really good to eat with chicken or fish, or it's kind of a mixture of your garden vegetables. When it's done and real soft, I'm going to pour it off, drain it, and then I'm going to take some fresh garlic and put it in the pan with olive oil. Just kind of heat that up with a little bit of salt, and then you put the Manetta back in there and you mix it so it's got garlic and a little olive oil. And sometimes my aunt would put pancetta in there, so she would fry it pancetta instead of olive oil with the garlic, and she would toss that. And then they would have crusty, we made our own bread when I was a kid. So you'd have the stale bread with this Manetta, and you would dip the bread into the Manetta and eat it like that. Oh my God, when I think about my childhood and around the food and the gardens, my mouth is watering in my memories. And when my girlfriend emailed me that, she goes, "Oh, can you please make Manetta? I just love that when, we were kids." She's Puerto Rican and Hawaiian, okay? But she loved Manetta, and I love Puerto Rican food. So growing up in a diverse community where everybody kind of cooked, and we'd go from home to home, and we knew whose mother cooked the best and what kind of food. And it's so nice when you have that diversity, and that's why I really enjoy. I grew up with immigrants all around us. My grandparents were immigrants. We lived in an immigrant neighborhood. I was socialized from the people that were around me. I learned to be open-minded, and boy, do we need that now. We totally need that now. And I think that's why I love working at the school I do, because it's mostly immigrant population, and it's diverse, the cultures, and it's just beautiful to see how different people do different things. Okay, so my tofu is done. I'm going to show it. I'm going to show you if you can see that. See how brown that is? And it has all of those nice flavors. So I'm going to stick it to the side and let it cool. Then I'm going to come over and check this out. Almost, Rose. My green beans are almost perfect. So I'm going to take my, finish up with my kale, stripping it all down. And you can do this ahead of time. Strip out your kale, chop it up, put it in a plastic bag, and you can add it to when you're sauteing off veggies like zucchini, like if you have something sweet like butternut squash, and you roast that in the oven and you bring it back, and then you take your kale, chop it up, throw it in the pan, the butternut squash with some kale, so you have a little bit of the green and it's kind of bitter along with the sweet. Oh, it's so good, because sometimes it's like butternut squash by itself, if you're getting 6 ounces, can be intense. 6 ounces of kale can be intense, but when you put them together, you get that sweet and that savory together. It's just beautiful. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this up, and I am going to chef it on. And this is what it'll be like in ribbons. Always protect your fingers. Always protect your fingers. And I just keep rolling it so I can keep it together. You can put this in a plastic bag, or you can put it in a little container with a lid. Just make sure that it doesn't dry out. Now, if you take this and put it in a bowl and you massage it, you're breaking it down a little bit and you're adding the oil to it. It gets so tender and wonderful, and it takes in all the flavors, especially if, like I said, if you add some sesame oil. I would, in this right here, I'd put like 2 tablespoons of sesame oil in a bowl, and I would just massage it. And then I would add the Bragg's amino acid, some sunflower seeds or what's that, everything bagel?
Everything but.
Oh, everything but the bagel seeds. Oh my gosh, that would be wonderful here. So this would make a great salad. Okay, so if we can put this, do you have a little container I can put this in?
Of course.
I would add this to my salad at lunchtime. Or again, you can saute it up. This doesn't need very much. Doesn't need, I mean, you would barely saute it with a little garlic and olive oil if you wanted to use this as your veggies. Whatever you do, don't overcook your greens because they get a more bitter flavor. So just slightly cook it, hold in those good flavors. Okay, now we're going to check out our Manetta. That is, oh yeah. You can see this right here. See how it just kind of mashes up? I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? Yeah. Just kind of you want it to be able to go like that. That's how you know your cauliflower is done. And this green bean, oh, come on, it's perfect. Zucchini's good. Oh, this is perfect, Rose. Okay, so I'm going to get the strainer. I'm going to strain this off. So I'm going to let those veggies drain for a second. And I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in here. I would put just about 2 tablespoons. Then I would put about a teaspoon of salt. You can also add Parmesan cheese to this later on too. That's really good. And I'm going to put 2 of these little cloves of garlic. 1, 2.
Yeah, maybe you need a little knife.
Okay. I use the end of the fork. You can also use garlic salt or garlic powder is good too if you don't have fresh garlic. But there's nothing like fresh garlic. I'm going to take my, just going to heat it up. All right, now I'm going to take my vegetables. I just don't want this garlic to be raw. Just a little bit. So I'm going to show you the veggies. Okay, so here's the cauliflower, the broccoli, the greens, the green beans, all of this. And I'm going to stir it all up. You can adjust the salt. You can see how beautiful that is. Oh my gosh. This is for you, Vic. Okay. So you just, if it had potatoes in it, you kind of just, but the cauliflower does the same thing. But like I said, you can put potato in here. Yum. Doesn't that look gorgeous?
Mm-hmm. Smells really good too.
Yeah. So it's got your zucchini, it's got green beans, cauliflower, broccoli, and that little bit of that red stem from the beet greens. Boy, this is, again, 6 essential nutrients. Carbohydrates, this is where you get your energy from. Fiber, you're going to feed that good intestinal bacteria that you want to make sure takes good care of you. This is good for your immune system. You got a little fat in here from the oil. And I just keep mixing it till it kind of breaks up into little pieces. Okay. What do you think, Rose? Are you
perfect?
Like, oh my God. Okay. So now I need the bowl for you.
The bowl.
The bowl. The famous bowl. I need the other bowl, bigger bowl.
Why?
Because it's 10 ounces of veggies, right?
Yeah, it fits perfectly in here.
Really?
This is my bowl, girl.
Okay, bring it
Do
on.
you want yours too?
All right, here's Rose's bowl. So I'm going to weigh out what Rose gets. Oh, this is beautiful. So we're going 10 ounces of veggies. And how much tofu, Rose?
4.
4 ounces of tofu. Okay. There's Rose's lunch. Is that wonderful? And you still need a couple ounces of grain, right?
Yeah, and an apple. I'll get that.
Okay. So great. Look at that. It didn't even take us 25 minutes, 20 minutes total. Manetta can stay for about 3 or 4 days, and it's just going to get more and more flavor to it. Is that wonderful?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Okay. Well, great. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow. Remember, just for today, I can do this just for today. And I thought if I thought I had to do this every single day,
No.
I would lose my mind.
Simple. Keep it
So
simple.
just stay in the day. You're just, you're getting up today, doing the exercise just for today. You're making your food, and you're just going to stick to this plan just for today. I have a plan. I may not follow it perfectly, but today I have a plan. So you guys have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow. Oh, Rose, this is easy.
Bye-bye.